Right. Sorry. Hey, thanks for tuning in today on Wednesday's stream. I'm happy to announce that Palantir has extended their sponsorship and is doing 5 more development streams. So this contribution stream is sponsored by Palantir.net, a remote-first agile company that gives back to the Drupal project and community, which they've now sponsored previously 10 live development streams, adding another 5. That's 15 total. So they definitely give back with their own work, but by helping sponsor development in the community as well. They do have a job opening for a Drupal engineer, so you can go to their website to learn more and apply at www.palantir.net. So if you are new to some of these streams or you haven't watched some of the previous ones, the last 10 streams dealt around Drupal Rector, which takes the Rector project, which refactors and updates your code in place. We've got that ready for Drupal 10 readiness. So like if you're on Drupal 9 or if you're going from 8 to 10, over next year when Drupal 10 comes out, like 95% of the deprecated Drupal APIs will be automatically fixed. They're mostly PHP unit and simple test code, but it should also handle PHP unit and Symfony test. We're adding those rules from Rector into the Drupal Rector config, so you don't have to tinker and fiddle. And, I asked them, I was like, hey, we're kind of set with Drupal Rector. Should we do more streams? They're like, yes. And so I pitched the idea of working on the upgrade status module and phpstan-drupal. So the upgrade status module, if you're not familiar with it, it's a module you install on your Drupal site, and it does like an analysis. And it tells you like, hey, are you available to upgrade to Drupal from 8 to 9? And also now 9 to 10. See if I can get the image loaded up because I don't have it running. So it will read your current environment and under the hood. So let's go top down to just explain it and like why it's important to be contributing to it right now. So this Drupal core and hosting environment, that's very stateful. This is about your current instance and what your Drupal site has. That's something that phpstan or other static analysis tools can't do. They need to know like what PHP version do you have in your host. I guess it could detect that, but fits more inside of like the actual Drupal application. Remove. So this just shows things that are uninstalled. So why invest working on them if they're not installed? And then it shows for update. So this is where it ties into data on Drupal.org that says, hey, Drupal.org reports that this is compatible with Drupal 9 or Drupal 10 in next year. Yeah, just go ahead and update this. If you're curious about information, there's the Drupal.org issue queue search. The scan. So what the scan does is the scan actually runs phpstan under the hood. So you don't have to run phpstan directly. You could have upgrade status run it, and it adds a little bit of extra sugar on top. So Drupal is a very stateful application. It's a CMS, requires a database. And we have hooks, asset libraries, a few other things. All these can be deprecated, and it's really hard to do a static analysis, especially like deprecated twig functions. I tried to like work on something that could detect deprecated calls inside twig. I couldn't figure it out, but it's really easy to do when you have a bootstrapped Drupal instance. So that's where the upgrade status module comes into play. So we're going to be working on that during this stream because half of these issues that I've started looking at all relate to my code inside phpstan-drupal. So if you do work with upgrade status and you run it into a bug, feel free to open the issue on the upgrade status issue queue, but there's a good chance the bug is actually due to phpstan-drupal under the hood. So I'm going to get working on that because then I can tag releases and then people can actually get the fix by just running composer update and not having to wait for an upgrade status release. So that's going to be the game plan over the next 5 weeks. I do this every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central, give or take a few minutes. So let's dive in. I'm going to go with the first one. I know Gabor spent some time triaging, so I think anything's going to be tagged with phpstan-drupal. I'm going to open that in a new tab just to start. Going to upgrade status. Oh, wait, this. Oh, wait a second. Let's look at this here. So I don't think this is actually phpstan-drupal. This has to do with the typo 3 var stream wrapper. So I'm just gonna go with, I'm gonna do a quick copy. I don't think this is directly due to phpstan-drupal, given the stack trace shows has occurrences of the var stream wrapper extension package. We'll say package. And since I'm working on this through sponsorship with Palantir, I'm making sure to tag them with some issue credit on Drupal.org. And let's go ahead and dive into this one. So var stream wrapper. And if you're curious like what this var stream wrapper is, earlier, some time ago, it was added to Drupal because there was a security vulnerability where you could access a var over stream wrappers. I think it was something like that. I feel like it's really it can be executed if somebody uploads one, or if you have your dependencies in your document root, like old school some Drupal sites had. You know, if you're like using Laravel or Symfony, your vendor directory is outside the document root. But some people had their Drupal site there and PHP unit in production, which meant that vars were available over the web, if not configured properly. So let's go look at this code. That's not going to be in here. Luckily, I have a contrib environment up to, well, it's definitely not up to date. So what I should do is let's see. I'm going to do a composer update really quick. I guess while that runs, that's mostly going to sync Drupal core updates. All right, so let's look at this typo3 package. Typo3 var stream wrapper. And let's just read about it real quick, because I know it was added. Like I said, I don't, security hardening is why it was added. Insecure deserialization in combination with allowing to hide var files inside valid image resources. Oh, wow. So the Typo3 project decided back then to introduce a stream wrapper to intercept invocations of the var stream wrapper and only allow usage for defined locations in the file system. Well, interesting. This is actually a really good thing to have. I didn't realize it was through images. So let's look at where this code is failing. So string position on line 109 of var reader. That means that a file is false, in my opinion. Line f gets resource. Oh. So file exists. Load class generated config. It's looking inside of here. Here being the generated config. I wonder if the generated config file doesn't exist. Now retrieve location. Extract data from var. So we're going to do postponed, needs more info. And I'm going to remove. Okay. Here is a quick bit of triage. I'm going to need some more information to help figure out why this broke. I'm not entirely sure, so I will do my best to explain how I think this broke. So we have extract data. The error occurs in reader extract data. It opens the resource. I'll remove the white line, the white space, which in this case it is trying to extract data from the phpstan-drupal. Code. So let's see if it's in var-dub HTML. Okay, so that's not in ddev. That's probably actually their test server. Let's see. The odd part is that the following does, I don't need to be all emphasized, does not crash, which means a valid resource is returned. But it seems to crash here or at some point here when iterating over each line in the resource. Let's look at fgets. The docs for fgets. The typo 3 far stream wrapper. Sorry, it went from like being hot to cold to humid and cold and allergies, and I am a hot mess right now with my sinuses, so sorry. Does not, so the package does not handle an error properly, which is why we're seeing this spectacular crash. Thank you, Grammarly, for auto-correcting me and probably enforcing my bad spelling. The line variable is false because fgets had an error. Can you do an rmrf vendor bin vendor phpstan and also delete the symlinked binary in vendor bin and then run composer install to get a fresh var. And one thing I want to do too is let's see if this is on GitHub. Meant to put a slash in there, but search worked out. Or maybe the actually, you know what? I wonder if, so let's do lsl vendor bin. Okay, composer require Drupal upgrade status. So I wonder if the symbolic link is broken. So we have a valid resource, but there's no data because it's a broken link. So this installed all the goodies. So if we do vendor bin, we have that example. This is what code ls ln vendor bin shows on my local. So save that. Oh. All right, so this is a really interesting bug. Basically, it has a resource, but the far wrapper extracts the resource, and it's not file end of file, but the line on fgets returns an error. So I'm going to open an issue here on what do you call this? The far stream wrapper. I'm making a new issue. How does stop indexing so I can read the documentation on here. Does not handle fgets returning an error gracefully. Let's see. No, not code. Now I forgot how to do markdown. Fgets returns false due to an error. This package will crash as it passes a bool to string position. I'm still not certain how we got an error. Egor, oh my goodness, from fgets. We were trying to launch the phpstan-drupal. Relevant issue on Drupal.org, which has code that runs phpstan via, how do we run it? Via exec, retrieve form, call user function, create modified neon file. Class exists. Generated config, extension installer. Oh, so it just like goes down the rabbit hole. It tries to find the class. phpstan for autoloader. Create modified neon file. Let's see. Create modified neon file. If class does not exist, generated config, which then launches the which launches the autoloader inside phpstan. This gets triggered with that causes the phpstan for autoloader to execute. And we end up broken. So that's super weird. And it's just weird because we have a resource. File end of file. Just go. That's not standard 5. Return bool. True if the file pointer is at EOF or an error occurs. I don't know how many lines it takes to get an error, but it's before FEOF returns true. All right, so I've got the issue. I'm going to add a comment. I opened an issue on the far stream wrapper package as well. All right, so we got one issue triaged. Only one thing got tagged, phpstan-drupal, and I removed that tag because it's not actually due to phpstan-drupal. But let's go step through it more. phpstan command failed, permission denied. All right, let's see here. phpstan, composer show, phpstan, let's bin, phpstan is there. Let's see. What's the last comment here? Looks like the test did not pass your test, analyze test, blah, blah, blah. Face the same issue, post install an upgrade status module. On checking the permission of vendor bin phpstan, all user group has execution permission, but this is a symlink to blah, which does not have execute permission for any user of the group. Okay, well that's interesting. So, because it's a symbolic link, which is how Composer links any binaries, as we see here. But when it's installed, it doesn't have any executable, which I guess they can keep reproducing it. So we also had this issue on our local virtual box. Exec can execute without problems, but the analyze command fails. Drush command works. I think phpstan cannot be executed properly because we have different environments between Drush and PHP FPM. That makes sense. So if you're running it on the command line, you're actually using the PHP CLI, but with what upgrade status does some pretty crafty things, and I'm not saying that like as a bad crafty, like it's pretty ingenious what Gabor came up with or whoever helped contribute it. So deprecation analyzer, there's a controller, scan result controller, and the form creates a batch, and the batch actually calls a web page via Guzzle that's on Drupal, which triggers the analyze of a command. So here, load project, it analyzes it, and then it returns it as a JSON response, and those get collected over time. So if we look at the analyzer and we go to analyze, so init environment, and this then runs exec command, so it runs the phpstan command, and it will return. So this is not running on the command line, it's running via FPM, which FPM could be in a separate group which doesn't have access. All right, so I guess that's one important part to note here. Instead of running phpstan with sh shell, which I think is exec, we went with the PHP binary. That would be a good idea. Solution 2, Symfony process component, which abstracts the execution and error handling. From reading this, it makes sense how this error could occur. Upgrade status. Upgrade status runs as PHP FPM, which could be a it doesn't need to be iterated again. I'll just say number 30 brings up a great point that CLI and PHP FPM are completely different runtimes. PHP FPM is in its own, as its own runs with a specific user and group, and could be missing permissions. So let's see. I think it'd be better just to put PHP stand, like just to put the PHP process in front of it. So finder, rtrim, finder, JSON equals 0 is equal to exit code. There's JSON. So let's look at this error. That's a functional test 2. So went from 5 problems to 2. Analyst test reports note array to string on line 299. Well, that would be changed here in 299. The out, oh, because the out is an array, not an array. I think one of the biggest selling points of Lando and DDev is the kind of hand waves. Yeah, well, the problem is that you could be running upgrade status in your QA environment too, which wouldn't be Lando or DDev or some standardized thing. You could be running it in a, like, I'm assuming that's got to be what's going on here. Is it's, or they're on Vagrant, so if it's on like Drupal VM, I'm not sure. That's a whole other problem because PHP unit didn't exist. Permission denied. So color might help, but it might be stumbling into multiple binary location problems. That's true. Why don't we? What do I do in Drupal check? Because I do something similar in Drupal check because it just runs phpstan, but it is on the host, so it can do things a little bit easier. Command. So this, it runs the phpstan bin, but if it's in Windows, it prefixes it with PHP, which assumes PHP is in your path, so that could be a problem. And then we pass it to Symfony process anyways, which, let's see here in Drupal core, composer.json. So we do have a dependency on Symfony process. Does that at least jive up here, the requirement? We do 3.4 to 4 to 5 because, yeah, it needs to be that wide spread. Let's see. Do I have DDev on here? I sure do. I want to try something. DDev start. No, why has it got DDev NFS mount? I don't want NFS. That's not supposed to be enabled on here. Oh well. Your composer dependencies require 7.4. You are running. Oh boy. All right. Let's just do 7.4. Get rid of the mount. DDev restart. think I agree. It would be more robust to leverage Symfony process. I also believe calling the PHP binary to execute the script would be wise as well. So let's see if I can I want to check something. I guess the only problem is, like, what if somebody's not using FPM and they're using Apache Prefork or whatever? Let's see. What goes on here? Hey, here we go. Here we go. Symfony process has a PHP Executable Finder. Woohoo! Let's do, say, edit Symfony process also ships with PHP Executable Finder, which makes finding the PHP binary easy. So env, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if there's like some environment variable called PHP binary or PHP path. And instead of us having to figure out how to run this, we can just leverage the PHP Executable Finder. So let's go ahead and make an issue fork. Nope, not compare. Show commands. Let's copy. Oh, composer require. There's a way to require something and preserve the version control. Dev dry run prefer source. There it is. Prefer source. So by doing prefer source, it's going to give me the Git repo, which means I can just run, well, I can run Git options on it. Commands, contrib, upgrade status. Maybe if I didn't have it installed already. Cloning from cache. There we go. So it was installed, so that's why it didn't do anything. There we go. Check out 3.x. Paste the issue fork commands and check out the branch. All right, so we got that. Now let's go ahead and take this first patch. So I'm going to copy the link address, do curl git apply v, copy. Let's do git commit av, add patch from Benjamin. All right, let's go ahead and improve this. So the tests are failing. I wish we could get like a unit test in there, but that wouldn't work as well. So let's see. Drupal root. So bin path. So command, we want to do, what was the server command? So finder. And what if there's an error? How do we? if not empty. Results. Well, I guess I could work on should not get here as integrations are expected to invoke an environment first by I guess we'll just do this logger error, unable to find PHP binary and return. And if we look at the server command, what does it do? The binary process passes that in. So we could do binary, bin path, phpstan analyze. Exit code, we can trust that it will be. Let's see, what is this changing? JSON implode. But it doesn't catch any errors. So if is not set files or JSON or does not array error 299. It said 299 had. Oh, but I added all that code into there. So why don't we see if I have PHP unit configured? Boom, I do. All right, let's try running that test. So I'm going to open a new terminal. Let's do phps. Okay. And now the test. What test failed? It was upgrade status UI test, upgrade status analyzer test. Let's just go for that one. And test analyzer. Let's run it and hope for the best. There's no interpreter for this. PHP 8. Okay, run. And let's hope for the best. That's an error right away. All right, I can. One second. So I've done a few sandbox things, and apparently I had the wrong info YAML. All right, let's try this again. JSON. So I feel like this logic could be improved right here. If formatted error JSON, we could just say result this time JSON. I guess that, like, what does the original look like? Because to me, it seems like we should check just if the exit code 0, we know file get error contents, error file name, empty, error output, get output. Oh, there's the array to string conversion. Oh no, that's implode. Never mind. Implode is right. PHP toolbox. Index not ready. Close. All right, so this is running. So we can see here, the batch is running in the background. So this is, it's doing a full scan. We need to wait for this. We're expecting there to be 2 errors or 5 errors, but it was saying there's only 2. I have no idea how or why. And what I wish we would have done, actual message, is do a var export of the value. But well, one failed. Undefined property class std class php. Where is this error from? And analyze. Did I copy something wrong? Undefined. What? 480? Oh. Well, that's undefined property PHP. Oh, well, we found a whole different bug in here. We're missing a closing parentheses. Well, that's a different kind of bug. So we'll rerun it. I wonder why. Oh, maybe that's why did that not get caught before? Like, how is this not crashing? No, 2006 Mike SQL. Oh, in the group check, well, your database just died. Learn about per table prefixes deprecated in 9.3.x, removing them 10. My SQL version not showing. Support generating code quality reports for GitLab. So far, it looks like this is going to be one of the phpstan issues. And detecting wrong version. I want to see if we can get this command to run. Shoot, I forgot to do the debugging I wanted to do. So one thing, like here, whenever you have an assert count, right? Assert count failed asserting that 2 matches 5. It's like, well, what does that really mean? So one trick that I picked up from the JSON API folks is to do a var export. We'll do report and true. So by passing true to var export, you're returning it as a string instead of just dumping it to the page. So we're able to inspect what was returned and what had the error. So we can say like, oh, we know we should be expecting X, Y, and Z. We can actually inspect and review what came back as errors. We'll let the analyzer run again. Get the batches going. And one thing that I am curious on, so to go to the whole multiple binaries, let's log in to the test site. Okay, we had a failure. Let's see if this will let me log in. Hoping it's just admin and admin. Okay, we got the same error, 2 versus 5. So if we go to reports, never. I don't want to save my password. Reports, status report. So if PHP. So if we go to, oh, I should probably view more information. Let's do PHP binary. So that's not set. I'm just curious to see. So I guess it should be defined so as an environment variable or as a constant. It should be passed in. So I think this should be pretty safe because if it's in FPM or there's multiple versions, like it should be tracked somewhere. Just curious to see. Nope, it's not showing up in there. But if we did a ddev ssh, do php r print, we got the correct version. It showed 7.4 when there is PHP 8 available. So I think we're golden there. Now we need to figure out why this failed. So 2 out of 5. And let's dump the report so we can see what's all going on, like what's inside the report. And while we're at it, let's do a push. So this would be, we'd say execute phpstan with php binary. I think that makes sense. Wait for that to commit. Let's push. Wait, what did Andy post, right? Some memory limit error. So I guess this should hopefully let us get some better reports. Let's go back down to the bottom. Opened an MR merge request from patch 31, which adds PHP Executable Finder looking into the test failures now. And one thing folks could do too, if this is having an issue, is they could run it from the command line in their own, what do you want to call it? CI from drush. So there is a drush command that could be used instead, and that would allow inspecting all of this if FPM was giving woes. So we wait for this to go. It takes, oh, nope, should be done. All right, run, data, phpstan failed, command failed, PHP 8, oh, maybe no progress. Yep. I have PHP 8 on my machine. Wait a second. Hold on. So phpstan failed. Message. That's the command. That's the config. Command output. File errors 4. Syntax error. Oh, wait a second. So that's we don't want to care if it's an exit code of 0. We just always want to decode the output. So JSON equals JSON decode. Because if we look at this output, totals, files. Yeah, we want error, command output, command error. So let's try running that again. The problem could be if it doesn't return JSON, but based off of how the code worked before, it always seemed to return JSON no matter what. Yeah, JSON to code output. It would implode the output on each line. So let's just run this. And while that's running, I'm going to go look at this error. How old is it? From September. Class autoloader. Aha. Due to some fancy PHP unit bridge work in Drupal, we need to call the PHP unit bootstrap script to fix some namespaces. I have tried avoiding this, but cannot seem to get it to work just right. So it looks like the problem they're having is it's not loading the, oh wait, because on require, shoot. So if we look at this bootstrap.php, not inc, the problem is that require, I'm pretty sure if you recall require twice, it returns, it could return true. Looks like require is returning true because the autoloader in this loads the autoloader in web or doc root has already been loaded. Or are you not on a composer based build and this is a general problem since the autoloader is since the Drupal fake autoloader is the main one. That probably makes absolutely no sense to this person, but I'm at least going to write the comment. Boom, test pass. So let's push this. What I would actually like to see is so date, data, result data totals, data files. It adds that into there. Let's see if we can look at phpstan exit codes. Better yet, probably should just look at the source. So let's go to vendor, phpstan var. So if you do use PHP Storm, you can actually inspect vars. If you're in VS Code, you cannot. So stubs, source, command, analyze application. Analyze command. Let's see, initialize, execute, return exit code 1. Oh, wait, where'd it go? So exit code 1. There's a 1. Catch debug. no errors were found. Internal error. Return 0, 1. Return 1. All right, so return, handle return. Hold on. Handle return. Error output, unlink exit code. So the exit code must come from here. JSON format errors. Has error 1 or 0. Well, shoot. Everything's. I was hoping we could be like, oh, if error code 17, it's a random error. But that's not going to work. So get style. PHP stand output style. Symfony. Let's see. Because if we got error 255, we would know we were okay, but the fact handle return exit code. Yeah. Oh well, that doesn't work. Did I push this change up? I did not. Shoot. I don't like the fact that we're just trying to decode directly. And JSON decode hardening did not get improved. Throw an error. When was this added? When was throw an error added? 7.3. Throws a. Okay, let's try this out. Let's do. What did it replace? JSON last error. So since PHP 7 or value. Okay, so returns the last integer. It can be one of the following constants. So we'll say if not equal to error none. So that seems like the better fix. So we'll try to do a JSON decode, and if there was an error, we'll return it. Let's try running the test again to see if that goes through. Ideally, we should make a negative test that verifies an error doesn't work or returns something, but we'll keep it as is for now until somebody has it break, and then we can figure out how to make it better. I really wish we could find a way to fix that's not what I want to find a way to fix this. I tried working on a improved autoloader that doesn't require us to need the bootstrap by using like a stub file, but it was still breaking across the board without the stub, the bootstrap.php. The idea was to have this stub file that provided everything we needed, and we just loaded the namespaces as required. But if I look at this output, let's see, where do we fail? Oh yeah, it couldn't find this function name, even though we had it in a. I had it in a stub. I believe if I go, yeah, so I defined it in a stub file, but it still was not being picked up. Which is the whole point of a stub, is to help prevent undefined functions from causing it to crash. But it just did not bode well for me. What does this keep indexing? Oh, that's what. So let's go to sites, simple test. It's indexing all of the. No, not resources. Excluded. Vector cancel exclusion. Unmark as resource root. I honestly wish I knew what that even meant. Excluded. All right, we got a test pass. Always decode JSON, but catch errors if not JSON string, and couldn't be if decode fails. Yep, there we go. Let's do a push. Push anyway. We'll go back to that issue and let's clean this up a little bit. Let's uncheck these here. So we don't need to display those patches. What is this? Oh, that is an interesting output. Student needs review. We're going to call this a bug. The merge request has been updated and tests are passing. The failure from 31 was the fact it was only decoding JSON on exit code 1 when any errors cause exit code 1. To account for a text-based failure versus JSON results, I checked the JSON decode error. I think that's hopefully good enough. Now php.net require, let's see, I'm going to jump ahead to the next one. So this is running. One thing I want to do is just, let's go view those results. So require is identical to include except upon failure. Oh, or is require once what returns true if it's called again. Well, maybe I should read include. Include in the path. Raise E warnings if it can't be accessed. If the path is defined. When a file is included that contains the variable scope, an error includes. When a file is included, parsing drops out of PHP mode and into HTML mode to begin the target file. Any code inside the target file which should be executed as PHP code must be encoded within valid PHP start and end tags. That's wild. I didn't know you could do that. Handling returns. Include returns false on failure. It is also possible to execute return statement inside of include to terminate processing. are what am I? Is it just include once? Oh, if a file has already been included, it will return true. So I don't know how they're getting a Boolean back. Following is true and not a class. That's so weird. Say edit. Actually, I'm going to strike that out. I'm not going to just edit it. I'll strike it out. Actually, returning true is the behavior of include ones or require ones. So I am not sure why it would return true over anything else. So the output for this build, test pass. Well, at least there's one good thing that came out of this. It should be a little bit more stable running upgrade status for some folks. So that way they hopefully don't have to, what do you want to call it? So that they don't have to modify their file permissions. Okay, so there's that. Let's see. Why does it use core test bootstraps? So I mean, also, I'm in phpstan-drupal. Should link to them where I run the include autoloader bootstrap. Link. Here is where phpstan-drupal includes the bootstrap.php to work around PHP unit bridge problems. That's the link. There's the code. And the thing is, this is actually a lie. We should edit that. I should remove that. It wasn't, it's not that it was supported. It was just a bug due to class alias is not supported by optimized directory source locator or that. No, it was a PHP 8 or PHP parser bug for PHP 8. So let's actually edit this. Oh shoot! Is that why I did a because I did a require once in here? I'm gonna do an edit. Actually, did I screw up by calling require once above, which broke later inclusions? So let's do save. I'm going to drop require once. And let's say clean up PHP unit bootstrap inclusion. Remove unnecessary class, or now I don't even remember what it was doing. Let's go look in the code. Guess I could have done it locally, but yeah. So remove unnecessary class map entry for PHP unit trait compatibility. The issue number I was working on, there is 3231048. That is for require once, and then the PHP stand command failed is 3200701, which I'll paste because numbers. I can't even talk correctly half the time. I can't keep numbers straight. Drop require once for bootstrap.php to avoid any odd side effects later on. So let's make a new branch. All right, I'm going to make a new branch. If the test pass, I might just merge this. Create pull request. I don't know if I made this PR to clean up part of the loading to see if require once is needed or not, because maybe that's the problem. And what's this user's name? User, can you hack your local files to replace require once with require in the phpstan-drupal autoloader to see if that makes a difference. Now let's go back to php.net, and I want to reread include once. Okay, I'm going to try to reread this to see if this could be a cause of it. Include once statement evaluates the specified file, similar to include. If code has already been included, it will not be included again, and returns true. Maybe using cases where the same file might be included and evaluated more than once during an execution. So that helps avoid problems such as function redefinitions, variable value reassignments, etc. Which is why I used require once. Semi-composer setup, modules custom. So I don't know what semi-composer setup means. Let's see. Error line thrown on 144 while loading bootstrap file. Yeah, I don't know. We look at this bootstrap.php, line 141. Well, it's this. The loaders require, like, why would it return true inside that function? That makes no sense. There can be a lot of weirdness when trying to use the return of require if require was called earlier in the runtime. Hand it off in the beat. Yeah, it just, the only thing I can think of is that because it's calling require, I don't know what their build setup is like too. That's the other part that makes it so hard, is they're saying semi-composer setup, and it's like, okay, what does that mean? Does that mean you you don't have a web doc root, or is it just you use Composer to add things but you don't like fully manage it with Composer? Or is it one where when we call require once, if you get back this bootstrap file, but that would return true? I don't know. I am absolutely baffled, but we'll see about this. This didn't cause any crashes, but I don't feel too confident about that. So let's try to build that confidence about this fix up. So phpstan-drupal. Let's pull the latest code so it realizes the branch. Let's check out the branch. And let's look at the test source. Drupal integration. So it's running tests. I guess the only thing could be public test. Let's just say foo. And if we did test, this would be an error. Like if somebody scanned all of the Drupal code and scanned against the bootstrap.php, maybe that would cause it. Nope, that didn't even cause a crash either. All right. Well, I'm going to leave that open and let's see. I'm going to update the description. Came from that issue, waiting for feedback before merge. The last thing I need to do is make things more complicated. All right, so that's a PR that needs to get attended to later. All right, so this is what I triaged earlier. Server has gone away. Nothing we can do there. Warn about per table database prefixes deprecated in 9.3.x. I don't even know if this... Notifying status report. It'd be great for us similarly. I really can't believe that this made it in because I don't believe that they're going to actually be able to pull this off. Of course, there's no difference anymore. I guess it is deprecated. Warn about per table database prefixes. I guess they're going to. Similar code, like that would be great for us, particularly system check. So let's see. That's right, it's a 9.3.x, but we cannot rely on the existence of it. And we should operate on any 9.x there. So let's go to composer.json and Drupal core. Just go to get.drupal code. That issue is not doing what it was supposed to do according to the deprecation policy. Notify users so that they can prepare for the situation. It is no longer supported. It looks like the issue refers to removing the functionality already. It's supposed to wait for D10 when implementing the removal in 9.3 rather than 10. Well, I'll just work on a patch for this. So I know that this broke a lot of Civi CRM stuff by removing this. Well, not broke, but it just Civi CRM was leveraging this to handle their cross database and views. We've come up with a fix for it because we had to, but yeah. So if is readable system settings.php, we don't really need. I'm just going to add this over to the issue. Here's the code. Runtime and updates. Check array data table prefixes. I'm curious why. So it runs at runtime and updates. I'm just curious why they don't just load like, what is it? Database. All right. Well, they had reasons. Notify and status update. Let's look at the commit. All right. Let's go to the commit. Go to the issue. Prefix. See, I'm just trying to see like one reason it was chosen to do settings, DB command based, connection, migrate, system. I thought you could get all the connection data from here, but I guess not actually. I thought you could get all the connection. Get all connection info. This database info. Do copy reference. I think we could simplify. We could use database get all connection info to get database info just the same as how they use app path and site path. Let's see. So did they add tests to this? Condition test, DB connection test, application test. No, there's no test. Well, I guess the warning would show up if this existed. All right, I'm going to pause on that one. Let's see where we can go. Scanning contributor projects fails with the curl error when scanning through the UI over HTTP. MySQL version not showing updated in the upgrade status. I've checked my hosting and they confirm that the database they confirm that the database for the environment is MariaDB 10.4.18. Curious what it even says here when I have MariaDB. Says that correctly. How does this determine? So I'm also using this as a chance to learn more about upgrade status. So I haven't actually worked with this module much. So this is a nice way for me to get familiar with it. Result export, analyze form. Where's the upgrade status form? Environment, data and environment, build environment checks, PHP version, check JSON support in database, use a role for invalid permissions, extensions, Drupal version, PHP version again, this database type, PDO driver, let's look at this. The MariaDB databases report as MySQL. Detect MariaDB separately based on code from get MariaDB version match. Let's see. And with my testing, it seems to work fine. However, it requires that the version is returned correctly. I have no idea what this actually ends up looking like in a production environment. Let's copy this link. And is there a way to get, say name and other branches? We'll do 9.2.x. The code in upgrade status is based on the code from here. D8 compatible. Since code is in D9. So version. We'll copy this in. Ooh, what's the corrected DB version? Get DB version DB match. So wait, does this duplicate itself? if is MariaDB. And then why does it run this regular expression again? Oh well. All right, copy this. Basically, if the version returned is failing that regular expression, it will not be detected as MariaDB. And copy this whole part into there. Maybe your hosting team is obfuscating the database version. Curious to read this line. So the one problem is I'm putting this information, but I have a feeling they're not going to dig in as deep to solve the problem. But at least it's been triaged and pushed back onto them. Support generating code quality reports for GitLab. This is going to be in the drush command, I bet. And that I'm going to skip over. Deprecated config directories, deprecated, blah. Deprecated config directory still detected with 3.xdev, even though it should not. I uninstalled the module and used Composer to download blah and reinstalled it. I was expecting to clear the error status, but it was still present. I dumped the value. The global config directory still has a value assigned to it. Oh, this issue. They were in .org. This is probably due to Acquia Cloud Site Factory and the multitude of settings files they include on their hosting. GitHub.com, Acquia. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see, BLT. I bet we can find it inside BLT, their build launch tool. So let's go to settings. Oop, what's this? Previous issue duplicate of this. Let's see. Oh. Let's see here. Let's link it. We'll link the two. Related issues. Related issue. Because that's probably where all the guessing was added. So let's see, get the connection. So get the database type, run it on Drupal 8. So the thing is, I'm on D9. Oh, wait. I'm on D9. I'm not on D8. Which means that the parsing wasn't there. So I wonder if it's a regression. edit. I was on D9, not D8. Maybe a regression of. See if your database is returning the correct version and that you have latest 3.x upgrade status. All right, I'll update that comment. Nobody else has reported it, so I'm pretty hopeful that it's not occurring. I know we were dealing with this issue in Slack a bit, so I want to try and fix this. Although I bet BLT probably doesn't have anything in here. But let's see, because it's probably something added. Yeah. Issues, config directory open or deprecated, not urgent, fixes, build YAML, scripts, factory site hooks, includes. Why don't we actually, you know what? Let's view file. Let's go to, I don't know, I'll just link this. Also check your, what is this? Factory hooks for, what is it? Post settings PHP. We want to link to this change right here. Previously with BLT, it was set to old deprecated to config directories. That might help, hopefully. Yeah, so I'm guessing the user, going back to the MariaDB version, I'm guessing the user has an older version of it, or they said their hosting team and not their host. So I'm assuming that they're a bigger organization and their internal team is maybe like masking the version that's returned somehow. I could be wrong. Maybe you can't do that. But given what I've seen in enterprise environments, I would not be surprised if a security team was like, the database can't return its exact version because who knows why. Let's see, let's refresh. phpstan fails after detecting the wrong PHP version. Composer detected issues in your platform. Oh, actually, you know what? It looks like phpstan is being executed. Let's see. Where's this issue? Load. Can you try patching your project with the MR patch from issue? Let me link that. Patch link. I bet from that issue, exec is running with code sh and the correct PHP binary is not chosen. The patch there will find the PHP binary being used by PHP FPM and use that to invoke phpstan in its process call. It looks like Acquia has two PHP binaries, 7.2 and 7.3, and this is getting confused. That patch should resolve any binary resolution issues. Let me know if that helps. Exclamation point, because we're excited to help out. So that'd be cool if this helps fix two problems. If we can do, if adding the PHP binary helps fix this, that'll be good. Hopefully that'll fix it. My brain is going out. I get a large phpstan error when trying to run against some custom modules, but the important part is this. When trying to load bootstrap file, fail to open my site core. The issue is because my vendor folder lives above the doc root. Ah, okay. We found this problem with a few users who had their root composer.json words, Matt, words. Closed search deprecated 1 week ago. It's not detected 2 weeks ago. Oh man, this is it. Here we go. C. So the thing is, before composer.json, if composer.json has the name property set to Drupal/Drupal, it gets cut out from Web Finder, or the Drupal Finder from Webflow, because it assumes you're not using a composer build. What is the code name property in your root composer.json? If it's Drupal, then the Webflow Drupal Finder project will assume you're not using a composer build and use the wrong directory. Okay, my tweet. Did I put a link into there? Nope. So, github.com, Webflow, Drupal Finder. Source. I need to make warn if projects, if site's composer.json is named Drupal, but is a composer build. Task, retitling and moving to task. This can be a, what is this called? Environment check. An environment check to prevent phpstan failures. Not phpstan Drupal failures. I mean, so the good part so far, there's been no bugs. It's more like little bugs. Nothing's been hard, but it's just been mostly like, oh, we've got this one little quirk and this other quirk. So if it's in here, see the relevant code here in Drupal Finder. And specifically this comment, which resolved another user's error. I think if you do node ID dash 17, that should link directly to their comment. So let's save. All right, yep, that should link directly to their comment. Yep, that's the same identifier. Yeah, so that's that bug. We'll wait for their feedback. I'm gonna need to relate these. Come on, autocomplete. All right, let's link those. phpstan identifies Drupal root. Yep, so those are like in the same time. They've got to be the same problem. Custom install profile is reported as an extension that should be uninstalled. I opened this issue. It happened for me and somebody else. So what I want to do, let's see. Let's contrib dev project. Let's do I'm gonna make a new file. Let's do upgrade status list md. Let's edit upgrade status items. So I want to work on this here, or better yet, let's do kanban. Let's log in. I'm gonna make a new issue collection called upgrade status work. Oh, why not? I'll make it shared. So add the board, and let's see. I want to copy this issue ID and this issue ID. Let's go ahead and save that to begin with. Copy the link. All right, so warn the site's composer.json, the install profile. These two are quirky. That's going to be near impossible. Scan and export buttons are not clickable. That's a UI thing, and skip that. Install profile, report change service name. This would be a good one. A bit of this, not all cases. So I'm going to edit the board, and I'm going to add this issue to the list. Save. Cannot declare because the name is already in use. This looks like a bug on our end. All right, removing PHP unit. Cannot declare. Let's see. In my opinion, this should be closed. Drupal gets quote unquote weird when you install PHP unit directly without using the Drupal core dev package, which is probably how this all came to be, which I'll just comment that. Allow targeting of Drupal 9 with upgrade status 7. Well, that's export to CSV. Error. So basically, I'm just going to do some quick triage before I close this up in about 8 minutes, so that way I have a better game plan for next week. So I'll be continuing to do this. Getting the following errors for 2 custom modules. Custom module 1, PHP unit framework test case. 2, custom command failed. Oh, it's this user again. I'm just going to skip that. PHP stand to test PHP 8 compatibility. That's something I'm going to hopefully be working on towards the end of the month, is actually contributing to PHP stand directly for detecting PHP 8 incompatibilities while you're on 7.4. Ed check for ensuring that pre-rendered callbacks are closures or implement trusted callback. Let's see. I want to find all the phpstan-drupal ones. So let's take this. This was one. Save. Let's see. Detect these 3. When updating the contrib module, I can encounter 2 additional issues that were not identified by the report. Config annotation was there. For this concrete issue, Drupal 9 does not require 4.3. Those that are invent. We could write a custom rule to fake a deprecation check. Well, I don't know if that's PHP stand directly, but let's add that to my list. Man. Or rather, it's not contrib kanban, it's Drupal and OAuth 2. This is not being detected. This is definitely PHP stand Drupal. This should be detected, and its usages. So let's add that. And we'll tag this one as PHP stand Drupal as well. I'll add that to the list. Let's see, deprecated method invocations on non-type hinted objects are not detected. Well, we can't do anything about that then, though. There are many places in contrib. Let's see. Oh, this is old. So I triaged this before, but I forgot about it. So let's save and add it to the list. Because this one should be pretty feasible. Container not initialized, error parsing type. Detect entity context. Nor the splitting of coverage of profile types. Oh, unable to enable phpstan. Let's quick look at some of these. Went through all the steps, installed, clone repo, cache rebuild, opens. What? Okay, let's see. Got to work somehow. I'm just gonna do close. Thanks for letting us know it ended up working. Let's close it out. That way it's just one less issue in the queue. Oh, failed without errors, progress bar shown. Well, that's... So installed that, went through. Let's open this in a new tab. Okay, there's wild error format JSON. Let's see. Let's do some phpstan, github.com, phpstan. Let's do some version triage. Yeah, how long ago was 8. Was this? Next. Ah, 1, 2. Inline throws. So let's look at 87. Bug fixes. So basically, I just want to see if there's maybe a fix in the output handling where it started to show what it was printing to the error output with the progress bar. So type specifier, so generics. How long ago was this? May. Bug fixes. That was not it. Bug fixes. Use one CPU and proc open. Function is disabled. While combining shortcuts. Improvements. Or maybe be under an improvement. Update xdebug handler. Let's see. Let's look at 8.9. Stub 4, updated better reflection, bleeding edge, bug fixes, editor URL, fix for traits, more verbose messages, correct verbosity level and 2 wide returns. So it's 8.9. 9.0. Allow empty class bug fixes, revert, fix evaluating, never, allow null. Well, I don't know. What it could be. Improvements, a non-empty string. Let's see. So I know I ran this before and it did not show the progress bar. Add overriding rule. Let's see. We go into the far, just source, Let's just look for progress. If file count is 0, if not, debug. Oh, so error output. So that's these the same. Okay. JSON command output empty, unexpected value in Finder while bootstrapping. App core. Okay, well, this is related to this looks like no such file directory. Here we go. This looks like the error and the error here. Can you try reviewing the fix in this comment, which I believe was 17? Yep. Okay. So that's one. Triage. Hopefully that can be closed. It's indeed. Renaming would have solved, and I would have never guessed it either until I spent some time on a screen share helping someone resolve their upgrade errors around this. That's why I want to get a warning added to upgrade status. Are you able to give this a try later and verify? Such as changing it to code name, what is it? Name agency client. That's weird. Why did it? So this ran against web slash. Let's see. Progress bars always print to error. Let's see. Where'd the code go? Shoot. Let's see. So it printed to there, and if we look at the analyzer from based on the above output, though, the raw errors were returned. Deprecation analyzer. Let's get to. Let's close the built-in server. Get checkout 8.x, 3.x. If it's a JSON files. due to an unexpected error. How old is this though? May 21. When was this updated? For then. Let's just link to upgrade status. Deprecation analyzer. Okay. Source. Deprecation analyzer. It's quick. Okay. I'm over my time a little bit, but I want to just quick finish triaging these. See this link. I don't really have an answer there, but at least I hopefully provided some insight. We'll wait for feedback there. phpstan and homebrew installed PHP version. Output, you're detecting. Ah, ha, ha. 24 seconds. This person is on Drupal.org. Let's see. Where did that issue go? Boom, here it is. I believe this issue will fix this problem. It ensures that phpstan is invoked with the same PHP binary as PHP FPM or Apache PHP mod PHP. Yeah, there we go. So let's relate these. Is there a chance you could try that issues patch? Let's see, let's get this. Well, dang. If we can get this patch committed, I think that fixes a handful of problems. So it definitely looks like the problems range from this. So it ranges from posted by tons of other sites that I'm still processing site with. Reply, post, and we get an issue queue. Okay. There's that. So it seems like primary wins would be warning if the site has composer.json named. I'm going to get all fancy with my markdown. So warn if the composer.json is named Drupal, and the phpstan command failed, permission denied. So if we can get these two fixed, that's a lot of bugs on its own, which one at least has a patch. Has patch, needs commit. And then these others will be tagged for later on. Actually, why don't I make sure this is added? That's added. Let's add that issue. So I don't have refresh built in great on contrib kanban. Save. So needs review there. And I think that here we go again. I bet this is the same. Just keep on piling these ons. Then I really do need to go. Can you try the fix provided in this issue? It'll launch phpstan using the PHP binary used by the web server. Incomplete. Add automated test results. The analyzing command should report proper exit code. That's my issue because I was using it in the CI. All right, I think that's pretty good. That was a good triage session. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks again to Palantir for sponsoring more of my development time to clean up or to contribute to contribute to upgrade status, which also gets me to contribute to phpstan-drupal. I feel like today was a lot of triaging, but two pretty gnarly bugs. Like, they aren't gnarly bugs, they're just like annoyances. Are going to be fixed. At least one's now proven to be something that needs to be added to an environment check, and then ensuring that we call the PHP binary used by the web server before invoking phpstan will fix a lot of odd bugs that people are encountering as well. So this will be some pretty good wins when we get through it all. So thanks for joining in. Again, I'll be doing this every week on Wednesday at 2 Central. Thanks. Bye.